Hello, this is Frank Falvey with Frank Presents, and today it has my privilege and honor of having Lola Richardson join us. Welcome, Lola.
Thank you.
Lola, you have your flute with you. You're a recent graduate of Franklin High School. Have you lived here in Franklin all your life so far?
Well, I was born in Norwalk, Connecticut, but when I was still a baby, we moved to Franklin, so basically my whole life.
Uh, I know you played the piano. Did you learn the piano first?
Well, technically, I started singing lessons before I started playing any instruments when I was about 5 or 6 years old, but piano was my first real instrument, before I took up the flute.
And is your flute is your main instrument now, is that correct?
Not really. I wouldn't
Okay.
really say that I have a main instrument because I kind of fluctuate between which one I'm focusing on at a given period of my life. But I'm going to school on piano, so I guess technically that's my main instrument now, but I don't really think of it in those terms.
Oh, that's a surprise. Um, when did you take up, first of all, do you still like to sing?
I do for fun now. I haven't taken lessons in a long time, but um, I do like to sing for fun.
Uh, Current songs or any, what type of songs?
Well, I like to write my own sometimes, but I've only written a few.
Oh, so you could be a singer-songwriter or a composer?
I don't know if I'll go the singer-songwriter route, but I do a lot of composing, and that's what I'm actually planning to go to college for.
And you're going to an outstanding college. Berkeley School of Music is just world class, and some of the great jazz people have come out of that school.
Yeah, I'm not really like a jazz musician, but I do have a contemporary focus for the most part with my music because, well, what I really want to pursue at Berkeley is they have a unique video game scoring program for people who want to compose the music for video games. And you can also do film and TV and that sort of thing, and that's what I'm really interested in.
Oh, wow. Wow. So they have um, music to go with a video game, and that's a specialty that you'd be taking classes in?
Yes,
Yeah.
because writing music for video games requires a lot of technology experience and knowledge of how to like match what the music sounds like to a certain story or to match with certain like effects that happen in the game. So it's like kind of an interactive thing, and you have to know how to match with that as a composer.
So you need to know the sound of many different instruments in order to really fit that in the game.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I'm so old. Can you tell me what contemporary music is today?
Um, Honestly, I would say that the music in video games and movies is kind of the music of the future. It's where like a lot of musicians are finding jobs these days, and what a lot of kids are listening to because a lot of kids play video games. I don't really listen to that much like pop music, to be honest, so I couldn't really tell you what artists are popular on the radio or anything.
All right. Well, could you show us do a tune for us
Yeah,
or an instrumental?
I can play something that I wrote for the flute.
That would be wonderful. That would be great.
Okay.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Thank you.
That was marvelous. You started with private lessons on the flute, or did you take it as part of the where did you start in school? Grammar school? I mean, where did junior high school is? Where did the flute come into the public schools?
I started in fourth grade because that's when they start, like through the lifelong learning program, they do group lessons for beginners. So I started on the group lesson in fourth grade. And then after my first year, I started private lessons.
Okay, I thought lifelong learning was for adults, but it's not. It's also for people, young people.
Yeah, they do an after school program for beginner musicians, and they do strings as well as wind instruments too.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. And then, so in fifth grade, uh, uh, you were playing the flute, and then worked your way up through seventh and eighth. And in high school, was that your principal instrument that you played, the flute?
Yes, I was in the high school wind ensemble, which is the audition group, like band, and I played flute for all 4 years of high school.
And did you go to the district competitions as a wind ensemble?
Yeah, I auditioned for districts every year from seventh grade to 12th grade, though we did lose 2 years of it because of COVID. But yeah, I did districts all the years I could.
All the years you could. But didn't it, at least when I was involved in the music program way back, they had district competitions where Franklin and Norwood Wind Ensemble would be would play, and they'd be judged how good they were.
Oh, I think we have Micah
Yes,
for
that's
full
it.
bands. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we did go to Micah, which we didn't have when I was in freshman year because of COVID, but in sophomore, junior, and my senior year, the wind ensemble got gold at Micah, which was a big achievement for us.
Wow, that is an amazing achievement.
Thank you.
And I got to take something back. It's not competition. You're judged on a standard.
Yeah.
And so everyone could win gold if every band was that good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that's amazing. It's amazing that, did you perform at Mechanics Hall in Worcester in the district level?
Yeah, we did perform at Mechanics Hall. Though this in my senior year, I forget the name of the place, but it was a different, like a brand new hall they just built. So we played at a different place in
Oh.
senior year.
And did you go on to state? Did you play at a state level?
Um, with the whole band.
Yeah.
Well, for the whole band, Micah actually, I believe, is a whole state thing. Um, but individually, there's also like there's a districts
There's a
competition.
district, right.
Yes, and I did the all state competition for that as well.
And so you played in the all-state competition.
Yes.
And where was that held?
Symphony Hall in Boston.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was really fun.
It must have been. It must have been absolutely. Uh, what might have they played at Symphony Hall that the flute was a prominent part of? Was there a particular composition?
Well, I mean, we just played like, whatever band music the conductor chose for us.
Right,
But
right.
there was, well, when I was a junior, I actually played piccolo in the all-state band, and there was going to be a big solo for the piccolo, but it ended up getting canceled because of the weather, so that was a little annoying.
That's. What can you tell me about the flute? In other words, what are the different parts? And I noticed that you actually are breathing into the hole, as opposed to a trumpeter who actually has the end of the trumpet against their lips. You're actually breathing down into the hole.
Yeah, you don't, it's not like a lot of other wind instruments where you put your mouth over the hole. It's kind of like if you've ever like blown across the top of a water bottle to make a noise, you blow across the top of this hole. and that's how you make the sound.
And then what are all these things here
Oh,
that you press or don't press?
yeah, so these are the keys, and you put each of your fingers in a specific spot. So your thumb goes here, and then fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And each of these keys presses down a different key somewhere else on the flute, or lifts one up, like this one here.
Oh. I didn't realize that the flute had that many things that you would be pressing down on or pressing.
Yeah,
Has
because
it always been that way?
no, the flute, I mean, in like, the prehistoric times was a much simpler instrument, but for more like precision with tuning and different techniques you can do, there's a lot more keys now, obviously, because each one manipulates a different, like a different sound.
Yeah. Yeah. The flute, probably its heritage goes back to Egyptian and biblical times. And even in the Irish tradition, there's the tradition of the penny whistle,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I think, maybe just 1 or 2, 3 holes that you're pressing. And there's, I don't know, in the Caribbean, you can make a flute out of bamboo, or in South America, they make a lot of fruits out of bamboo, which have different lengths. And so the different lengths,
Oh, yeah, like the pan flute.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, make different items. Well, could you give us another tune?
Yeah, sure.
I'm impressed with your composition already, though.
Thank you.
You have another one?
Not another composition.
Okay.
But I have cool pieces written by other people.
All right. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
You know, you play the piano at the United Methodist Church
Mm-hmm.
and have for quite a while. You recently played a concert there on the flute.
And the piano as well.
Oh, and the piano as well.
Yes.
That. Now, I got to tell you a little funny thing that crossed my mind. A while ago, we had a pianist, right, and a choir director, okay, whose son was very interested in video games, in creating games. And I think he went to Pittsburgh State. I'm not sure. But he went with the idea of getting into the field of creating video games. Now, I don't know whether how far he ever got in, but it's fascinating that here's the son of a piano player at the church, right? In video games, and then you as a piano player that would like to put the sound behind the video games.
Yeah, I mean, there's really like so many parts that go into the making of a video game that people might not always realize. So like, there's so much you could like aspire to when it comes to the field of video game creation.
Yeah, I, I, I'm just amazed at how wide and popular a field that is. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people your age and younger are really enjoy the variety of video games there are.
Yeah, I've actually been playing video games since I was like 5 years old. So it's been like a lifelong interest for me. And like, it just feels like there's more and more that I can discover all the time. And like, as I've gotten older, I've found so many that, you know, inspire me as a musician, uh, or just like are fun to play. And like, it's maybe one of my favorite things in life aside from music because there's so much variety.
Kurt Schilling, an all-time great baseball player, okay, pitcher, lived in Medfield as I remember, all right, and he was producing. He started a company. And unfortunately, it went bankrupt for him. In Rhode Island, in the state of Rhode Island, got caught owing a lot of money because they backed him, and they poured a lot of money into the video games, and I don't think they ever got a red cent back. The development. So it's uh, it's one of those, if you're producing it, chances, because if no one likes your game, you must the cost of developing that game has got to be an enormous cost.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big risk to start up your own video game company.
Right.
Like there are a lot of indie developers that create games without like a large studio helping them. And usually a lot of indie games start out very small because people can't really afford to put a ton of money to invest into a game that they don't know is going to be successful or not. So oftentimes, I mean, not that I know that much about video game development, but you generally have to start pretty small before you can try to make like a huge successful game.
Is there a relationship to animation in the music that you like? In other words, I don't go to kids' animation movies anymore, but I understand there is music behind the animation, right? Is that similar music to what might be behind video games?
Yeah, it actually is. There's less of like an interactive element with the music in animation, but some of my favorite composers do compose mostly for TV shows and like, you know, animated things. So it actually is quite similar because it's all about creating a mood through the music. So that's something that they have in common. And I'd be open to composing for animation as well, you know, when I'm having a career as a composer.
What other creative things do you do? Do you paint, or do you do other creative avenues?
I like to draw. Sometimes I write for fun. And well, this isn't really creative, but like as a hobby, I do like taekwondo. I like to swim. But, you know, music is pretty much the biggest thing in my life, and also
What
just
is
playing video games.
taekwondo?
Oh, it's a martial art that's kind of similar to karate, but it's Korean and you like kick more, I guess.
Oh, oh. So yeah, there's a lot of creativity that infuses what you do on an everyday life. Then
Yeah, I mean, art in general is a huge part of my life. It's like pretty much the most important thing in my life, so it has to do with everything that I do.
I would hope that Franklin must be a great place for you to live in, with all the artistic things that do happen in Franklin.
Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate that while I was in school, the music program and the arts program was really strong. I don't know how that's going to change with the budget cuts recently, but I'm glad that I was able to grow up in a good town for creativity.
Yeah, yeah, because you have the Franklin Studio of Performing Arts, you have an arts council that are painting the electric boxes on the. You ever think you might put in a bid to paint one of those boxes?
I'm not really much of a painter,
Okay.
so I probably not. Art is more of like a hobby for me, like
Yeah.
drawing, so I don't know if I'd do something that serious.
Yeah. Do you draw like cartoon characters, or do you draw more like landscape or houses or
Um,
humans?
I tend to draw people mostly, sometimes in a cartoonish way, and sometimes I like to draw more realistically, but I tend to focus on humans and animals sometimes.
Uh huh.
I don't really draw like landscapes or, still lifes that often.
Good. Good. What else did you? Were you members of any other club at the high school?
In my senior year, I was a member of the 40% Club, which basically, like, we just do various things that kind of spread positivity around the school and community. Like, for example, around the holidays, we made, like, winter themed cards for people at the senior center and we gave them out. And that was, like, maybe the most memorable thing for me that we did.
Wow. Wow. That is great.
Yeah, it was really fun.
What are you looking for uh, as extra curricular activities at Berkeley, or what else do you hope to find there?
I think I'm really excited, I guess, to explore the city in addition to, getting better at music. Because I'm excited to live in the city and experience a more like bustling life, I guess.
Well, I grew up in Boston. Great, great city.
Hmm.
It's a wonderful city. Um, so you're going to be living in the Berkeley campus area?
Yes.
Where do they have their dorms?
Well, they have a couple on Mass Ave. My dorm building is on Hemingway Street, which is a bit of a walk from the classroom buildings, but like it's in the area.
Yeah, yeah. But you're right in walking distance of Symphony Hall.
Yeah.
You're the Fenway, which is a beautiful walking trail.
Hmm.
The Museum of Arts. There's a lot in walking distance, and of course, there's one of my favorite. You get to ride on the swan boats.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it.
It's a great place. Could you play us one more?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you, Lola Richardson. And you're going to be going off to Berklee College of Music. And I hope you check back with us and keep us updated as to what's happening in the music world and with your music in particular, your compositions. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
I
having
appreciate
me.
it. Oh, you're more than welcome. This is Frank Falvey and Lola Richardson saying thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again.
This program was made possible by your Franklin friends and neighbors, good folks just like you. Thanks for supporting Franklin TV. And thanks for watching.